Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Monday night. And we live. How is everybody doing today? We
Doing great.
celebrated. That's good. We have celebrated, or we didn't celebrate. Actually, it's not even a celebration, as we remembered the men and women who gave it all on the 9/11 attacks, as we remember the men and women who lost their lives since the 9/11 attacks, even up to the recent days of last week, Thursday. And it's been 21 years. And as they say, as it takes 21 days, that took form a habit with 21 years, is getting in the habit of remembering them, but also remembering their loved ones, remembering their kids, remembering that 21 years ago, when one of their kids was in the womb and now they are of age of 21 years. And that's what they had to spend their lives. That is what we reflect on and remember, that this is the sacrifice that they have the innate will in them to do. And we need to get in the habit of just saying simply thank you. Not when they come rescue, but whenever you see one, because you just never know when they get that call. And so, but they will respond first. And we wish and hope that all of them come back home safe and sound. But we know sometimes that is not the case. But so we do remember them and we honor them. And I believe in giving them their flowers while they're here on this side of the dirt. So I hope we all reflect upon that and keep going as we do face new challenges here collectively. Because I'm glad to see driving by, I see our Birdie Tennis Center to use. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm coming over here and I'm getting ready to pull in us, just leaving our staff, our weekly staff meeting. And I'm coming over here to Birdie Jam because I want to show y'all something that I can't even make this stuff up. And one of the things is that I don't believe council should serve on any committee, board, particularly anything that's fiduciary that the city council has to approve funding to or have funding. I just fundamentally disagree with that. That's why y'all have not seen me on no URA meeting, or I will, intentionally not show up or be late, because I just don't believe we should serve on those panels. I mean, it's kind of, it's different for me. I just don't think that should it's challenging for me. Let me say that. And so one of the reasons why is we have funding. They have $17 million, but I do know how to calculate. I do how to know the utilization of simple math. And Mr. Will Johnston, how you doing? Hold on, give me 2 seconds, sir. You my guy, man. Hold on 1 second. And so, which is going to lead me to that whole conversation of why we do that, because when you have little smaller micro deals, you can not micromanage, but micro maintain out there in thought and then cleanliness and everything else. Is that I want y'all to see this, and you can see, help me out. Y'all see that behind me? I'm at Birdie Jam. Can y'all see this close? We have pine trees growing out of the downspouts. And so that's all I'm saying is, like, people, we need to get better with that. And plus, particularly when we talk about not having these funds out there with the URA. But we'll get on to that later. But right now we do have a special guest. It's the world-renowned, the man, the myth, the legend, the visionary out there, which you can see. So great to start an institute, MicroLife Institute, of micro-life and micro-community living. He's having something this weekend. I did want to bring him on, as we did when we did a tour of cottage homes with a tiny home footprint in it. And so he was the leading pioneer over in Clarkston that started this. I'm gonna let him tell his story. Without no further ado, Mr. Johnston, you do have the mic, sir. And thank you for coming on.
Well, it's so nice to be here, and thank you all. That was a really fun day for you to bring I want to say close to 50 to 60, members of your community to tour our cottages. And if you have already seen the cottages, thank you so much for coming out. I'm Will Johnston. I'm the executive director of the MicroLife Institute. And tonight I'm just going to be speaking to housing change through policy and what we did here in Clarkston with our Cottages on Vaughn project. And so I really appreciate your time. I don't want to take up too much of it, but I do have a lovely PowerPoint. We all love those things. And so I'm just going to be kind of going through stuff real quick. We, like I said, or Councilmember Reeves said, or Mayor Pro Tem, is that correct? Or are you the next mayor, or am I reading that?
No, man, I just put, I'm Mayor Pro Tem, so, but I'm Councilman Corey Reeves for the 5th District.
Councilman, thank you. And so Councilman Reeves was so wonderful to come out, and we had a good time. And you know what, I still haven't been able to view some of that film that you all sent out, so I appreciate you bringing a crew out and stuff. So not that this matters, I have a director of development and policy, and she's also was a person behind this project. Kind of wanted to give you some context of where we come from and how we approach stuff. This is information from AARP Georgia. Well, AARP, they are a huge sponsor and supporter, and they do amazing research. So we really like to use this slide a lot just to talk to you that we are not focusing on what we need to be building for the average American household size. If you look, 80% of American households are not the traditional nuclear families, but yet 72% of the housing units cater to the traditional nuclear family size. And so why do we, I mean, I know we could come up with excuses of just that's how we've done it for value, for property value, but why aren't we creating better household sizes for different size of households? And so, you look at this slide and it just speaks to the sizes and what, 28% of United States population is single people living alone, yet 11.63% and 0.87% are studios. Not that we're saying they need to live that small, but why aren't there more variety for them? And then you look at the breakout of 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, and 5-bedroom. So we really are just kind of poking the bear, and you see that quintessential 3-bedroom, almost 40% of units are being built that size. So again, also, Chairman Reeves also and I talked about, like, we're getting older. And I mean, I have to say, I'm very happy to be living in a cottage community. I know I'm in my early 40s, but I don't necessarily have a retirement plan. And a lot of our conversations are with older generations asking, how can I downsize and stay within my community? And unfortunately, we have not allowed for better zoning policy and housing policy to allow developers to build smaller units for that group to maintain and stay within their community. So there's nowhere for them to retire within their zip code. And so, again, we just look at that we are getting older, and the fact that, we're not as producing, we are not reproducing, but yet we are getting in a larger demographic of being older, and we're not building sizable homes that fit that demographic to downsize. So I kind of want to talk about what has housing choice and what does it look like. Housing choice is a variety of housing types and sizes. So variety of lot sizes, variety of mobility options, and to support a variety of people. And what does it look like? Smaller units like the Cottage on Vaughn that you'll see. The smaller lot sizes allowing you to be able to utilize space and utilize infill lots in your community. And why not create walkability and mobility and connectivity and reweave that social fabric back together? Now, I'm not saying this is for everyone, but why not allow others to live in a variety of sizes to make community a little bit more approachable, connected, and, like I said, walkable? And of course, a lot of the biggest points people are afraid of, like, what about, is it going to change the character? Well, that's what we work towards. We want to maintain the existing character of the community and the area, but that's called being strategic, and that's also working with the community. You might have seen this lovely image before. This is kind of the missing middle housing, and it's brought to, it is kind of created by Opticos Design, where you have the accessory dwelling units, all the way up to the mid-rise, live work situations. And so everything in between is what's not really being allowed to be built. And even though, yes, we built the garden cluster, if you will, there's multiple ways to describe it: cottage courts, pocket neighborhoods, garden clusters. We are really just wanting our community to embrace other types of housing and normalizing other types of housing to create, again, that walkable, connected community. One of our mentors is Ross Chapin. He coined the phrase, as well as wrote this amazing book that we use as our Bible, as we use design elements and really helping us steer a better project toward a better outcome. So developers, communities, and folks alike understand why we need right sizes of housing. I'm not saying the smallest as we can get it, but right size. We don't need to go up to 2,500. What about 1,100? You can build still a 3-bedroom house within 1,100 square feet. So again, it's utilization of space and really utilizing that design. So what we did, we built the cottages on Vaughn, a cottage community in Clarkston, Georgia. It is 8 houses on 0.57 acres. You can see it here. We have a nice common area with usable size front porches. Again, those design elements that we abide by Ross Chapin. We want to make sure that people have, that you will have all eyes on the common area. And also it's a built-in safety system of people just kind of noticing when someone who doesn't live in the neighborhood walks through. This is kind of, again, the shot from the back of the parking lot. That's another design feature. Parking lots are off to the side because it allows that little bit of a moment of human connectivity. We're also dealing with a huge loneliness epidemic, and it's because how we have designed our spaces, we are not interacting enough as humans. And I'm not saying we need to be best friends, but I live in the red house, back left corner. So when I park out front, I have to walk in front of the gray and the blue house, and not to mention the purple house. So it just allows a wave, a connection, a hello, letting that human know that I'm alive and they know that I'm alive. And it just, again, we don't realize we need this daily. So this is an aerial shot of our project. You can see it. Again, this was a drone shot, but we also did put solar on the top 4 units, and the top 4 units are net zero. So we are more sustainable just because we have reduced our footprint. We did not do anything special, but because of the design and layout, these top 4 homes are net zero. And here's just another shot. We have won the Atlanta Regional Commission's Innovative Development Award, and we are on, we've been nominated for a top 5 Urban Land Institute Workforce Housing Award, and we will learn, apparently it's a global award, even though it's kind of like the World Series where, it's just in the United States, but it's a global award, but it's just in the United States. Hey, I will take it. But again, we're just so proud that this is helping bring about better conversations. Like Chairman Rees has been here. I hope people are having a bigger and better conversation. And like I said, I'm not saying you personally need to live in something like this, but I need others to see the value for others to live here. Might not be for you, but I need you to see the value for others. And so we do have a productive urban landscape. So that means half of our landscape is edible. So we have, here is blackberries, figs. We've got tomatoes growing, which I have been gorging on. They've been very delicious, as well as a variety of herbs and spices that we're able to just pick and enjoy. Here's the board on our ribbon cutting last July. And then this is a quick little layout of just letting you know that even though this is 0.57 acres, we still thought through a lot. It takes a lot. You need to do a lot of pre-development work of really understanding your lot. So we do have a driveway down here. This is all parking. This is permeable pavers. And then we have a water catchment system underneath the common area. And then as you can see, we have 8 houses. This house, number 8, is actually 250 square feet. And it was had the most interest to buy because a lot of transient nurses and other groups that just travel a lot, they were really interested in basically owning a little piece of the pie, but not having to really worry about maintenance and space. And the rest of them are 492 square feet with a loft. So technically they're around 700 square foot cottages. And then you can see the water catchment system, as well as you kind of see the layout of each lot. What we did is also allow for easements. So again, really thinking through being neighborly, instead of just splitting this 10-foot setback in between houses, we gave an easement to house one so they could have this full lot to be their yard. So again, really just trying to think in being more neighborly and really utilizing the design patterns for this community. This is the inside. This is me playing with my dog. This is my house. So if you all are interested, we actually do have a tour this Saturday at 10 a.m. We'd be happy to host you out again, those who have not seen it. And like Chairman Reeves said, that we do have a innovative housing summit this Friday from 1 until 5 with a reception afterwards. And we're focusing on, again, even though, yes, we built cottage courts and yes, we built micro structures, we're really just trying to elevate housing conversation on a new light. One of the topics I'm really interested in that we have a great panel is religion and real estate. The idea of how churches are moving into the development world and how, you know, they could play a key role in creating affordable, attainable housing for their congregation and the community. So instead of being you know, a couple days a week, they can go up to almost a full-time service of being able to provide this space to allow for housing, because usually the churches are in a pretty primo location and walkability within a community. Adding housing through policy. So what we think through when a lot of our clients are cities, municipalities, and counties, really just trying to understand what they have, where they want to go, and the path to get there. So we do a lot of reviewing zoning and building codes. We do a lot of community engagement, community education. Who are the champions? Who are the people that know that you need more housing? And again, we need to work with the community to find solutions. And then what type of ordinance and or adoption we could work together on, so the policy can allow for new development, as well as we could potentially put together a community pilot project, just like the cottages on bond, to really speak to better policy. We do a lot of housing assessments, the zoning rewrite, and like I said, the pilot project with the local partners. And we really want to work with the locals, because, you know, we don't want to be that third party that just comes in and says, we know what's right. That does not work. We want to know the characteristics of the community. We want to know the walkability, the connectivity, what are we missing, and really figure out different ways to add to the mix of the housing choice and abundant housing choices within your community. So here's a little bit of information. I'll be glad to send this PowerPoint to the chairman, and so he can disperse, but that's a little glimpse into what MicroLife has done, as well as, and this is me, Will at MicroLifeInstitute.org. Like I said, we have our Innovative Housing Summit this Friday from 1 until 5. There is an online virtual component that's only $25, or you can go for $75. It's usually $150, but I can send you a link for 50% off. You do get a book by Dan Immergluck. He is our keynote. He is GSU's professor of urban studies, and it's called Red Hot City, which he has been analyzing the Atlanta housing market, which is again a really fascinating beast, if you will, and just especially watching rent go up, housing prices go up, and unfortunately just watch people struggle. Because I have to say, like, people ask me, well, how much is your mortgage? And I hear how much people are paying for a studio apartment in Atlanta in this area, and my mortgage is only $900 a month. And so that is way below average for even a studio in the Atlanta market. So we need to be challenging ourselves. We need to be really looking at different solutions and different ideas of how we can build better and allow the community to flourish and provide opportunities for our citizens to ebb and flow within our community. With that, I will stop sharing and be glad to answer questions. Or Chairman, if you'd like to ask some questions, I'll be glad to, or if you and I want to have a conversation, please let me know how would you like to proceed.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'm going to leave it up to everybody on this call who does have questions about cottage homes and with a tiny home footprint, which that allows a heated floor space of 250 square feet. And so that what they were like. I know that Commissioner Rob Pitts just allocated $1 million from the ARPA funds to
Yep.
build and construct tiny homes out there. And so, you know, that this is the market is dictating it. This is what people want to have happen. And so one of the misinformation points that was uttered out there was it'll bring pricing of the communities of the existing homes down. So can you address that on how would that increase or decrease property values?
It will increase. I mean, it will increase property values because it still is a quality built, stick built product. I bought my house for 165 and I just got my tax assessment bill and it is now 215. So I'm glad to share this information. I mean, it's not that we're saying we need to also drive up the cost, but we need better housing and we need more housing. So we need laws that will allow us to build that. Even if you look at the other missing middle products like duplexes, quadplexes, even eightplexes, all show property value does go up with a new build. You can also look at, you know, people are worried about parking. It shows if you have more of a walkable, bikeable area, people will spend more money in your community. So again, obviously being strategic about it, you are right, there is a myth and there is a fear that is in the back of a lot of people's minds. But truth be told, these developments, people stay longer and they're, because there's not enough of them, they are kind of a niche product, which I feel, you know, again, if we can update our policy, we can create more of, and again, reduce the price that because of quantity.
So that's awesome. So anybody go ahead, Tamiko, have anybody who got questions, please. This is the time. This is the time to get educated about the new housing choices and what micro living is about and what micro living is for and how it is coming and how it can affect and have a direct impact on the existing communities and the newer communities that are around us.
Good evening, Mr. Johnston. My name is Master Sergeant Retired Baisden. I am the current CEO for Southern Crescent Veteran Service Incorporated. We're a 501c3 nonprofit working and advocating on behalf of homeless vets. We're here in the Henry and Clayton County area, and as most people know, the homeless situation in these areas are is alarming. And although we have a whole lot of land here in this area, we don't have any funds that's being allocated to do something to help homeless. So based on the information that you shared in regards to the 8-home cottage, what was the cost for that? And do you foresee your programs coming to our area to assess homeless here in our area?
Thank you for that question. And the answer is, now that we did a market rate project, we are showing how to utilize micro homes and smaller homes for other demographics. So I am working actually right now with Macon, Middle Georgia, United Way of Middle Georgia, and we are working on a pilot project to do just that for homeless vets, to create a sustainable model utilizing smaller spaces, maybe even doing a duplex micro homes where you have two 250 square foot units joined together and being able to provide better housing options and permanent housing options for that vet community. The cost itself, well, we did learn a lot because we did build during the pandemic. The market went all over the place, as well as the I keep wanting to say pipeline, but the supply chain. So you know, originally when we also unfortunately had to fire our first builder, so which drove up the price. So we had to fix some mistakes that he didn't want to do. So we spent about $45,000 per home for just infrastructure, and then another $89,000 for vertical. So again, the houses, I mean, it is expensive to build no matter what. I think people keep focusing on the price per square foot, but if you build a small home, the price per square foot is always going to be higher because you're building them. You have to build the most expensive parts, which are the kitchen and the bathroom. And so it just goes back to a lot of education and helping people understand the built environment and the building process. We are looking at modular, which is stick built in a controlled climate environment and then shipped to, which is still, again, a reputable, well-designed product. But unfortunately, you know, those costs have not come down. It's really going back to the supply chain. And I think, you know, there is going to be no silver bullet for this. This is going to be really focused on per project and to see how you can partner with different groups, just like we're going to be doing in Macon. We're also looking at doing a project with West Side Future Fund, as well as we actually just got a $2.5 million grant. We are working with another nonprofit called Hope Spring Housing, and we're going to be working with women getting out of jail to reunite them with their families. So we're going to be building a cottage style community of around 800 to 900 square foot homes that have at least 2 to 3 bedrooms for mothers reuniting with their children. So again, this model can be used across the platform, but we also need to make sure people see the value for everyone. So again, it goes back to policy, because if we focus one type of group for this type of build, people will not allow it to be passed. So again, how can we elevate the chance for better policy so then you can take it and benefit from it, because there's better guidelines around what a cottage court community is and how a developer can take that zoning and policy and then build a better product working with you.
Okay, are there any HOA fees associated with your bill?
There are. We try to keep it minimal. We just have a fire pit in the middle, but you know, we are preparing for the future because we do have, you know, a sewer pump grinder and some other things on site. So it's $110 a month, and we want to keep that as, you know, minimal as possible.
And how long did it take for you to build your 8 cottages?
If it wasn't delayed by water or sewer testing and some other things, it should have only been a year, but unfortunately it was about 2.5.
Okay.
But especially, well, pre-COVID, unfortunately also with the jobs and supply chain, there's just a lot of moving pieces that aren't, well, it's the new norm, but it didn't used to be. So there are more delays just because workers aren't showing up or the supply chain windows aren't coming in time. So developers are really having to think through how you can create a better streamlined process for development.
Okay, so in a build, if we have a whole lot of land, are we able to do single to up to 3-bedroom cottages for similar prices than what you did? Or are you looking
You will
at doing
have
just...
to look. I mean, again, I would love to see that. I would love to see a more variety, because that creates a diverse community. You don't want to just stick one group in one area. So I would say a vet with a family with, you know, market rate. So create that community so people are learning from each other, intergenerational housing. So the idea would be, you know, to do that, but also you need to look at your zoning. It comes back to what you can do now. You could do a planned unit development, which is basically a cottage court ordinance. It's just, but it's site specific. So you would need approval by the planning and zoning board or whatever is in Clayton County to say you're allowed to build that plan and that plan only, instead of, again, having a cottage court ordinance that allows you to be a little bit more flexible. Next question.
Yes, I have one for you. Sorry. What are the average cost of your monthly utilities? And can you explain a little bit more about you saying that you're zero?
So net zero means that because of solar, their energy bill is basically even to none. So meaning like they're producing energy that they don't need to pay for. And then my bills are, because we have Mitsubishi mini splits, the heat pumps, And because they're so efficient and I have such a small space, my energy bill starts at, I mean, I've gotten it low as $40 and it's gotten as high as 80, but it all depends how hot or cold I want it to be. And then water consumption, I mean, not much. I would say $20, $40. You know, obviously I was watering a lot during the summer, so I got a $90 or $100 bill, but I was watering a lot of plants outside my house. I'm trying to think what other costs. With the HOA, we do have electric charging vehicles stations. So that is on the HOA tab, so which gets deducted monthly from, and we only have one person that has an electric car right now. Next question.
You
But that's
also
good
said you
forward
had
thinking.
the sustainable flowers and garden. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so we do have a lot of native plants and a lot of plants that are, you know, productive urban landscaping, which means we can eat about 50%. So we try to do a replant during the spring, and then we just did a replant for the fall. So like your winter greens like kale and cabbage and things like that. So we do hire a group that does it for us. And that was part of our agreement with the homeowners. And these are homes, all are like homeowner occupied. In the HOA, we only allow one rental. And so far, no one has signed up for it. Also with pocket neighborhoods and cottage courts, how do I say this? They stay longer. Like homeowners stay longer, meaning the average American moves every 7 years. Pocket neighborhood or cottage court owners usually stay 10 to 12 because of, again, there's a little bit higher community and connectivity. Any other questions?
Are there any other questions or rumors
I have
that anyone has heard about? Go ahead. You're on mute.
Sharon, are you talking? Do you need, I think you're still on mute.
it unmuted. Okay,
There you are.
let me ask you this. What areas are these pop-up houses in, or these smaller homes, as you call them, where they're having a great success rate? I mean, you say, where do you live? May I ask you that?
I live in Clarkston, Georgia.
Okay, how long have yours been up?
A year and 3 months.
Okay,
And we have another group over in Edgewood, Atlanta, the Finley Street cottages. You know, again, I would love to say we have a high success rate, but we also need to change the policy to allow more people to build. That's the issue. Even though these are still single family homes, they're just shifted and they're all facing each other. And, you know, they're on a lot that would be, you know, deemed more for a large suburban home, you know, 0.57 acres, or 2 houses in Atlanta. So, or in the city limits of Atlanta. So success rate, can you explain a little bit more what you mean when you say success rate?
well, I mean, how long have they been in existence? Are there
Oh,
states
since the
where
since the early 1900s, they were actually, historically, they came out of California as bungalow courts. So they've been around, but unfortunately, because of, I don't know how to say it, bad zoning laws, you know, single family detached has been the dominant zoning law. So how can we create more of a normality for other types of housing options so developers can build those?
Right. And you know what? And you're absolutely right about that, is because people use out there interchangeable words from bungalows to cottage homes to nest to, you know, there's a tree house in East Point that has a 3-year waiting list on it to stay out there for the weekend. They have a cottage home development right here that butts up against the 5th District, from College Park to the city of South Fulton, that is pre-sold and under construction right now. And that's at Gobby Road and Gobby Place. And so we actually, they're coming all over. There's one in Chat Hills. They have, it's 120 of them. And so right, but they're popping up all over the place because the people are futuristic and these things are being sold out. They're selling out. They can't even start construction without these homes selling out. And so I'm just saying that there is a place for them. And all I'm saying is the city of South Fulton does not need to be behind the 8 ball, as I welcome this development. I absolutely 100% positively do. And I believe that it should go into the right places and the right areas. And that comes in from, don't worry about it, because we have a new sheriff in town, Derek Cole, who understands that what this is, and he has neighborhood planning teams. And it's something that I attempted to do when we had tried to do a development that was on flat shows in Mallory. That's okay. People was misinformed, but now folks are educated, and now we have somebody who can lead these efforts, and we have neighborhood planning teams, which I'm suggesting from people who be over here from our HOA, one of the members from each HOA community on the board, and then a representative, as we know that we want to have from all sides as a neighborhood planning team. And y'all empowered to work directly with Mr. Hull and that to plan this out accordingly, because we need to do our zoning map and see where they are going to be placed. And this comes right from the community, not from Corey A. Reeves, but directly from a collaborative effort with the community. And that's what we're going to be doing. And so that there is a place for it, I know, in this area. And so, but it's not about what I want to have happen, it's collectively what we as a whole going to collectively decide to do and then go execute the X's and O's. Bottom line.
So I just brought up another example. This is, South Park Cottages in College Park. They are high-tech micro homes, and these are also all sold out. There's 29 units, I believe, here, ranging from 350 to 600 square feet. So again, you know, this is happening. And again, it's the idea of, I'm not saying you all need to live there, but there are opportunities for others, ranging from helping demographics get back on their feet, all the way to market rate stuff. But again, it comes back to the policy saying we need to allow for this in a more natural way versus making the developers and organizations who want to build these jump through so many hoops they're discouraged.
And then there's also too addresses the issues too is because y'all have a detention pond over there as well, correct?
We have watershed management. We have a retention pond underneath our common area. Yes.
And there's underneath, which means it's underneath the common area that's in the grassy space, the grassy knoll area that you can have kind of its own like water reclamation system. So it's new and innovative out there, and it addresses an issue too, because we have an issue we have challenges over here. Let me just say that. And so that, but also too, with a diverse mix like that, the economic impact, what do they usually put around there as far as, do they have sit-down restaurants? Do they have places that are sustainable areas within these pocket communities that folks we talk about a livable and a walkable situation. Can you address that issue or touch on that at all?
Well, again, I'm not saying put these everywhere. I think we need to be strategic, and you need to look at infill lots. You need to look at lots close to downtown and downtown areas. It takes a lot of rooftops to support a downtown. You need about 2,000 rooftops to really support a viable 30,000 square foot area that is restaurant, shops, and that downtown feel. So what we did in Clarkston, yes, I am walkable to grocery, coffee, restaurants. We are right downtown. We were really happy that we found a parcel that was so close to everything. Another example, everyone's so sick of townhomes, but townhomes are meant to be in a town, like downtown, like in the area for them to be able to walk out of their front porch and not use their car. So again, it's more of really kind of leaning in and learning more about the different missing middle products that could go into lots, instead of just saying cottage courts for everyone. We definitely feel that, we want to lean into the parcel and understand what would build best there versus just saying a cottage court community has to go there.
Correct. And that's why I'm taking about a collaborative effort and having the community be on these planning teams to be the actual part of the planners, but also filled with people within this ecosystem who are subject matter experts and who have experience in that area. And that's what I believe in as placing and putting people who are subject matter experts to do that. Because as you said, that townhomes are meant to be townhomes closer to downtown, walkability. Well, some areas don't live by that model. And so that, and with this being a little over 0.5 acres or a little half an acre, is that, that they can't fit to support. If just say if you have a planned area of 1,500 rooftops, well, these can support those little nooks and those little spaces, little half acre spaces that can get to the 2,000 rooftops that's needed for a sustainable and viable downtown district and downtown area. And so
and
yeah,
also
so-
just kind of speaking to that, like, this is just our example of what we built here. There are ways to add community centers. There are ways to add third spaces. Third spaces is that like coffee shop or gathering area for the community. I don't want people to feel limited. I want people to feel kind of almost being able to dream a little and be really excited of what the possibilities are. Glenda, I'm not really sure what you mean you're by your question. I'm not sure how to answer that of what happens if individuals cannot pay their mortgage and HOA fees. Since families with children will live in the mixed units, will there be parks and play areas for the children? I'm not really sure. Are you talking about a specific project, or are you just talking about the concept of pocket neighborhoods?
I think these are more so a concept of pocket neighborhood type of questions, just say, because these are preliminary questions but based on existing things that are happening currently in the marketplace in the area.
Well,
And
and
so-
again, each project is going to be completely different. You can't rinse and repeat this. Each parcel is different. So we really need to lean into the community, to the area, what's already there, the amenities to that community, and how a potential project like a cottage court or a mixed use could really fit in better and drive connected community change.
Correct. And then there
Ms.
are some areas too that might not have the pocket homes, but can have a pocket park.
Yeah.
And so this exists on multiple areas as well.
The idea is utilizing space well for
Absolutely.
the community.
Ms. Collins?
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Good.
How are you doing?
The reason I asked that question is because in the older subdivisions, we're lacking amenities now. And I'm trying to find out, if you build these homes, are you going to have amenities to accommodate the neighborhood or the people that live in these homes? And if people have children, they need someplace to play. You cannot put them in a small area and expect them to be able to live there and be comfortable and not have a place to run and play.
I would say, again, if we are building something as small as what I live in, I would not recommend it for a family and children. This is definitely a niche product that would be for couples or singles. I mean, I live basically in 500 square feet. So, and we do have a park, common area out front. So I would say that children would play there nicely. But again, that's not the project that we built in Clarkston. So, again, I would have to look at your community in your area, and that would be something that you would need to bring up during the development process to see if something could be added. But also, note that that is something that we also need to bring in our council members and our community to say, where can we put a park? Where can we put amenities? Because also it shouldn't have to be a developer's responsibility to add amenities to a neighborhood, but in my idea of building a pocket neighborhood, a park or a common area would be included with that style of build. So again, I don't want you to, I feel like you're zoning in on what you're seeing one definition of this, when I just want you to be exposed to this other style of building abundant housing options that could fit within your community.
Right. Well, let me just address it. Sister Collins is, let me just say this, and I'm going to get with y'all because I was actually going to talk to y'all before Saturday to y'all clean up this weekend. And that there's two areas that what makes sense to address those needs, but we would have to, and I'm working out with our legal, is how can this be attainable? Is there's two areas, one on the corner of Fairwood Road and Fairwood Place, and then there's another 3 parcels over there on Transit Circle. Is that, you know, those are two ideas that the city could come in, and if we're able to acquire that land out there, those would be pocket parks of what that consideration would be. It wouldn't be housing. One is because of the substructure that's there, and then two is one of them is just that they just principle alone, but I'm not going to go into that. But however, as that, those are two areas that are pocket parks. And I have examples of that, of communities that have organizations like Fairwood Community Action Association who have those, and then they take care of them, they maintain, and then people pay into it out there to maintain along with the partnership with the city. So that's just about working those out and seeing that first, if we can even get those acquired, because those are eyesores and those are things that I think that because of our zoning or and permitting or lack thereof is, I think that that's something that could be amenable and would address those needs to fit the question of what you asked about having kids and having people somewhere in their own community that they can just walk up to and go play. Specifically.
HOA, you have a question?
Specifically.
Ms. Johnson, you have a question?
Yes, my question is, okay, Corey, yes, first let me go to, I cannot plant my own flowers at this place. Hello?
Yes, what are you speaking of?
You know, at the little cottage, would you be able to plant your own flowers? I hear him saying that.
Oh no, that's for his he talking about his specific development, but yes, you would be able to come.
I planted, I mean, again, you still own your own parcel of land, and I planted elephant ears and flowers around my house. We
Okay.
just, in the common area, we just,
Okay.
again, it's agreed that we went with a productive urban landscaping, but there's no anti-planting. I mean, we welcome people wanting to be more involved. I would say the younger generation, I mean, we also have people from 25 to 61 that lives here that are, we have Latina, African-American, LGBTQ, you know, male, female. So again, we have quite a variety, but I would also am learning, not everyone knows gardening. No one knows what a weed is. And I'm like, it's not that hard to pull a weed, but we are learning. We are offering and bringing in our productive urban landscape partners and doing classes so the neighbors can understand, you know, what a weed is and what flowers, which flowers are good and which plants are edible. So again, this has definitely been a learning process for some people who have not been exposed to ever growing anything in their life. So there is no dictation of saying what you can't plant. But we just know we went with more native plants just because it doesn't take a lot of water to keep alive.
And then my second question, I hear you saying that the association fee is $110 a month. Is that right? And
Correct.
then, and so you said that your mortgage is $900 and some a month, right?
Yes.
So you who take up the $110 a month? Suppose somebody can't pay the $110 a month.
We again are in an HOA, so that is kind of the agreement. When you buy into it, you are explained what the costs are. I think because we're all humans, we would want to understand your situation, but I honestly don't know what we would do. Because again, it's part of the agreement when you buy your home in this area. So I'm not sure. I apologize. I don't know.
Well, usually what happens is they'll put the HOA or put a lien on your house. And so my next question is, okay, you said that you live in this area. So how many bathrooms are in these places?
Again, this is just our project. I have one bathroom in my house.
Oh, okay. So where you live at, there's only single people sound like, right?
Singles and couples.
Okay. And do they have one or two bathrooms? You do not know.
Everyone has one bathroom.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. And one of the issues we did learn about, we had to do sewer taps fees for each of these homes, which drove up the cost. So again, I just received some information. 26.2% of cost associated with housing is government related because of fees, permitting, and all that stuff. So I had to pay $5,000 per house for a sewer tap fee. When my neighbor who built a 3,000 square foot house just up the street, he paid $5,000 for a sewer tap fee for 5 bathrooms. So we need to look at our systems because they don't appropriate the right amount for different sizes. So again, this is why MicroLife exists. We are a nonprofit. We're trying to create better conversations on both sides for the consumer as well as the government side to help people understand we need to streamline, we need to simplify, and we need to really look at these different ways we are charging. We had to put in certain things that drove up the cost of these homes. The original prices, well, I won't say what we thought they were going to be, but they are way above what we thought we could get them down to. But unfortunately, because of certain fees and certain ways we had to build, it drove up the price. Mario, go ahead.
Hey, Will, good to see you again. I've toured your house as you've opened it up on the tour. And
Visiting.
like I said, I was thoroughly amazed. I was able to touch the elephant ears out front and I saw everything growing in the community garden. So I definitely understood that. But going in on that concept, has MicroLife and in your travels with MicroLife, have you seen installate tiny home community with a vertical garden or a container garden there to kind of, feed the community?
I think that would be amazing. I would want to incorporate it in, the landscape so it's not blocking, so people still enjoy viewing each other's houses, but I would welcome it. I think that would be amazing, especially maybe even putting in like in the parking area that you could do a vertical. I mean, again, I'll put it a part of the plan as long as that's what you want to incorporate in your project. Awesome. I think that's a great idea.
Yes, if the community is amenable to it, I would love to bring a property like that to South Fulton, especially in District 7.
Sharon, you asked about interest rates. It's all regular mortgage. So whatever the interest rate is at the time that the feds dictate. So I think I got mine I got in at a good time. It was 2.9, I think. Well, we got 5 minutes.
Absolutely. Well, I'll just say this. The conversation is not going nowhere. We're going to keep it going because, as I stated, that Rob Pitts, Commissioner Rob Pitts from Fulton County has just announced this from Fulton County to address affordable housing. And he specifically said that down in South Fulton area because the Development Authority does have land down here. And so that was specific to what he said. And so this is having a conversation, which is a great deal for everybody to get educated on it and collectively collaborate and come on an issue to see where it'll be ideal on where we could put it to welcome it, so we keep an eye on it. Because a lot of people praise the one out here in College Park that literally butts up right here. You can just drive down the Anagari Road and there it is. You can see it. And matter of fact, you can see it if you come around the 285 corridor going around towards Old National. So very big, very visible. Let's see if it's very viable, and let's look at it to whereas we can have that come into our city. But go ahead, next question.
Hey, Councilman Reeves, Jane Williams, how y'all doing?
How you doing?
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, Councilman, because I think I text you to ask you what was that community that I could see from 285? So those are tiny homes, small homes, micro homes, whatever
See,
you want to
these
call
are cottage homes with a tiny home
cottage home.
footprint with a heated
Okay,
square foot
okay,
space of 250 square feet. Yes, ma'am.
okay, very good. Well, they looking pretty good. Okay, thank you. Oh, and thank you, Mr. Johnson, for coming on. Thank you.
Glad to.
And I enjoyed the tour as well when we did come over to Clarkston.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for visiting.
Absolutely.
This is Tamiko. I think one of the things that we really learned is from what's on TV shows to what we got the tour is often two different things. One's the wheels that they can put on the back of their car is not what you built. And that's the first misconception. The other thing is, how are y'all picking who is moving in and buying the property? Does the HOA get to interview them, or how does that work?
That is, I mean, if you're just doing market rate, it's first come, first serve. I think because it is a cottage community and the style of homes, there was a natural filter and people saying, this is what I want. We had 1,500 people interested in buying these 8 houses. And the number one driving force of why they wanted to live here was to live in a community focused area. And so it didn't matter the size of the homes. Yes, there are 492 square feet on the ground floor and another 200 square feet in the storage loft, which I use as an office, and that's where I am right now. But you know, the idea is we need to build smarter. I'm not saying build this size, but it's the concept of creating community through the built environment by utilizing cottage court design style patterns and allowing for a variety of sizes. So generational housing can happen. To make a happy community, you need a diverse community, and that also means sizes of houses.
Now, Mr. Johnson, could you repeat that again? Because I was in the back pew checking Facebook. How many people did you say applied for the 8 homes that y'all constructed?
1,500 were interested.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
And then the last 3 homes we sold, we had 90 groups show up to tour.
Interesting.
And how
But
we
I
would
do want to say,
you know, we are excited. I'm not sure where Chairman Pitts is with their decision, but we hope we can be involved with that conversation and that project. I do believe they are focused on creating workforce housing for 60% AMI. I think that's what was pushed through for the ARPA funds for the $1 million allocation. And so what we're hoping that we could be advisors or project managers or be involved in some way so we can work with you all and do the community engagement, create the better project for the parcel, and really, you know, make something that will lead through example and allow others to build more.
Absolutely. And for the edification of the public, please break down what you say by AMI.
Oh, area medium income. So as you know, it can be very skewed. So for example, even though some areas of Atlanta, you could go in and the area medium income could be around $65,000, or other areas could be $30,000. So to create, when speaking to HUD standards, they like to say area median income, AMI. So what Chairman Pitts and Dr. Rochelle, I believe, worked towards was 40 to 60% area median income. So that median income could be $100,000. So 40% of that to 60% of that. So you're looking, you know, again, $40,000 to $60,000 a year could afford to live there.
Okay, awesome. Good deal. Good deal. And so,
and I do believe he wants to have larger homes than what we built. I think he was saying 800 square feet, which is double the size of my house, basically.
right. And these are communities that can have that of the 1,200 square feet, 1,500 square feet, but they also have the ability to have 250 heated floor space as well. And so that's all it is just being able to have those mixed and diverse communities that can have everybody of what they want to, not just affordability, but from sizability as well, as not needing all of that space. And so, as you said, this goes back to the early 1900s, and they're dealing with, it's just that we got away from that concept. It's actually kind of going back to a previously existing concept before we even existed to what we see today. And so, and I think that, like a lot of people don't want the maintenance of it is, it's easier maintenance. And so, but however, I think these are conversations that will continue to happen. And I thank you for coming on. And so I know it's well past the time. I'm giving other people opportunity. If you have a question or comment, please feel free to go ahead and say so right now. And but if not, we'll go ahead and wrap it on up.
Hey, Corey, this was John.
Hold on. Before we do wrap up, do you have any upcoming training or information that for people who want to learn more about it?
Like stated earlier, we do have our Innovative Housing Summit this week, and I can send you that link to send to everyone. We also have our tour this Saturday, and we also have a lot of online education through MicroLifeInstitute.org. We have Zoning 101, as well as what is housing choice, really just helping educate you on what housing is, because a lot of people think housing is just single family homes when it's so much more. And our society is so much better when we embrace more different structures and sizes. So again, do look and also become part of our newsletter at MicroLifeInstitute.org. We also have, Tamiko, you mentioned, the tiny house on wheels. We still utilize tiny houses on wheels as a festival. We do our tiny house festival actually is moving down to Macon area in Danville, Georgia in late October. And that festival has helped change housing policy across the state of Georgia. It might not be what they want to build, but it starts creating the housing conversation that's driving change. And we're really proud of the work that we are exposing people to. So people are opening up their mind to new possibilities.
Now you done said something. Now you don't know that you gave me another idea. Now I want a tiny house festival down here in South Fulton. I'm just saying, legit.
Well,
but go ahead with the question.
Let's talk about 2023. It moves around.
Absolutely.
These are the last two questions, and then I'll give them out.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, under the HOA, what restrictions do you have for animals, dogs and cats?
You are allowed up to 3 cats and 2 dogs.
And so are they inside or outside animals?
They are supposed to be well-behaved animals. So I have a neighbor that has 3 cats and they mainly live inside, but she does allow them to go out and hang out on her front porch. I am the only one that has a dog in my house, but she is my COVID puppy. So she's always next to me. She's right here. And so obviously we would have to come together as a neighborhood if we had issues with a pet that was being aggressive or messing up our community and the owner was not doing anything. So again, it would be a community decision to talk to the neighbor.
So the HOA,
I think that's the thing people are missing. I think this is the thing a lot of people are missing. It's not a HOA situation that they have built. They have a neighbor to neighbor community conversation that they develop as a relationship, that it doesn't have to go to a HOA level. Is that not clear?
I mean, we would rather hand it through being human and just talking and facing each other and just saying, hey, this is kind of upsetting to me. Could we talk about it? Versus, again, there's only 8 of us. And so you can't not talk to each other. And so, we do have, I'm on the board, I'm the secretary on the HOA, but again, if there's an issue, we also are on a text chain. We talk to each other daily, people helping water stuff, as well as just say, hey, I'm going to be out of town. Please watch my house, things like that. So.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
All right,
Feldwood.
Feldwood.
This is for Corey. Hey, Corey, did I hear you right that you said something about transit and Fairwood Place?
Oh, you absolutely heard me right. I said at the corner of Fairwood Place and Fairwood Road, and then there's a
And then the one right there at Black Show where they unclear all the land off?
so those two places we looking to acquire, we can look at getting those and making those pocket parks within the community. And but we would have to acquire the land. But there is funding, infrastructure funding out there for parks and beautification to address those needs and issues that work with groups like Fairwood Community Action Association or the 501c3s that's in our community that service our areas. Absolutely.
No. Well, are you saying that we could put one of the some of the college homes there? That's my question.
No, ma'am. No.
Park.
I'm interested of an example of a pocket park.
Okay.
Ain't no cottage home. No, I don't even think it's suitable for building those homes over there that they let permit through. But that's a whole different conversation for another day. But this is an idea of a pocket park that you can have, a dog park as well associated with that, and then particularly down on the corner of Fairwood and Fairwood Place as an active little pocket park. But that's like I said, we would have to work on acquiring the land, and we're in talks with legal with that. So.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure where I heard right.
Yeah, you did not hear, put it this way, you did not hear, nobody need to go out there and say, oh, Corey gonna put a pocket park a pocket neighborhood of cottage homes with a heated foot space of 250 square feet. No, we're not.
That's
That is
why I
not what I
want to
said.
make sure I heard.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Corey.
Well, you know how people get misinform other people about things, but thank you for wanting to set the record straight.
Right. Okay,
Right.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All righty, I want to say quick announcements. The newsletter will be coming out tonight or first thing in the morning. We have our work session and zoning meetings tomorrow and a special call meeting at 3 p.m., 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. tomorrow on YouTube Live or on person. What you can do is prepare to watch and pay attention to what's on the agenda. You can also go on the website and see the agendas. This Saturday is the Fellwood HOA neighborhood cleanup if you want to participate with them. There is also the Old Merchants Association 5K run this Saturday that raises money to pay scholarships for kids to go to college. So try to support that or even give a donation if you're not gonna run. We are getting ready to launch the grant classes. So if there's anybody who wants to participate, please send me an email because I'll be calling people tomorrow that have sent me the email to start scheduling to help start write some of these grants and do the training for the community. So just so you know, these are grant training classes to help write grants to help the community.
I have an announcement.
Go ahead.
This is Master on Basin again. On Saturday, which is the 17th, AMVETS Post 911, which is located at 3011 Camerton Road, Southwest Atlanta 30311, will be having their veteran stand down event where they will be catering to homeless vets that's in that area and surrounding cities. And if you want to contact the commander, his name is Ronnie J. Ogletree. The telephone number for him is area code 678-520-3167. And that's AMVETS Post 911.
Okay, awesome. Does Fairwood Community Action Association have an announcement for this weekend?
I think I just did it for him.
Oh, you talking about the cleanup?
Yeah, yes. And we're going to meet at Mr. Clancy's house.
Absolutely. And so is please, anybody who knows anybody will talk about cleaning up, particularly in District 5, if they want to talk about it, tell them to come on out. And if you see this on any post on Nextdoor, Facebook, or wherever, tell them to come on out this Saturday and be a part of the solution to the issue that might plague this community. And so, as we all want to say, cleanliness is next to godliness. And I would thank y'all, Fairwood Community Action Association, for doing this on a continuum and a regular basis in y'all community, as that's awesome. And with the homeless veteran deal, I just want to let you know they do have a thing out there in Savannah, model that's already up and going. And maybe we can even take a trip down there, Master Sergeant Baston, is that, it's called Tiny Homes for Big Heroes. And so the sponsorship is going so well. And it's actually right across the street from an active park. And they teach the homeless vets to get back into housing, to get back into society, and get back to career opportunities, so back to normal living. And so it's actually something that is transformational back into those lives. And so I think that we owe a great deal of gratitude for the service that y'all have offered. And so I think that it's something that we could look towards, definitely building towards the future. Mr. Johnston, look here, man, I appreciate you taking out the time of your day and coming on and providing us education, and keep up the great work that you're doing. And I had an awesome time on the tour. And so we just want to, thank you again and just welcome you. And if you need, if you work with any realtors down here, we have a group and association with debt and loan officers as well. So who can probably be a part of this. And I hope that people want to take advantage of your housing summit this weekend and this Friday. I know I'll be there because I just want to learn more about housing issues, particularly, and I'll ask our community the director, Mr. Derek Hull, who's new, see if he wants to join as well, because it's going to take collective collaboration, but it's going to take more so of an educational piece, because so many people could spread out misinformation, and that just is kind of to me as disenfranchising, because it really prevents opportunities for people who need those housing options and situations to not take advantage of it. And now they have to move out of the ecosystem because they're forced out because of market rate. And so with that being said, but however, it is 7:44 and we're a little 14 minutes past due. But however, I think these conversations are well important. Mr. Johnson, will you come on back sometime soon?
Of course, would love to. Hopefully we've got, news to say that we're, working with Chairman Pitts and doing some good stuff down yonder.
Going down yonder. See, man, you started to go with that old Baptist song. I started to stop my feet around there for a minute. But however, thank you again for coming. And so, and thank you all. Thank you all for coming on the call.
Have a good night.
Yes, good night, sir. And then, so thank you all for coming on this call. And I appreciate y'all taking time out of y'all day to join us. And I hope that through anything that you got educated and learned something new. And with that, say something good about South Fulton. Think positive about the area that you are in. And remember, I love you, and you can do absolutely nothing about it. And to all, have a good night.